Amorim shortly when he starts talking about transfers in this news conference. But before that, a possible transfer for him, which is really close. How close is it?
Really, really close. Manchester United and Lecce have agreed everything over Patrick Dorgu. The deal's worth around £29.4 million. So United will pay an initial £25.2 million, and then there's a further £4.2 million in performance-related add-ons. I think United will see this as good business because they were negotiating for quite a while with Lecce, and they didn't want to overpay. We think that the limit was going to be what they're paying right now, and they weren't going to go much further over that figure. So I think United will see that as good business as far as they're concerned. But as far as Dorgu's concerned, he wanted this move as soon as he knew of United's interest. He wanted to go to Manchester United. He wanted to go to Old Trafford. He's now expected in Manchester very soon. He'll take a medical, we think, this week. Personal terms are as good as agreed. And if he's registered by midday on Friday, then he will actually be available to play for Manchester United against Crystal Palace on Sunday at Old Trafford, if selected, of course. So Ruben Amorim close to completing his first signing as Manchester United's head coach in what has been a real problematic position for him, that left wing-back area.
Ashley, what about Amorim? Do you admire him for sticking to his principles, or should he have tweaked things just to get United through this rough patch?
No, I think that I credit him for it. He's got a system and a style of play. He doesn't have the players. He knows that. It's clear to see that when you watch a Manchester United play at the minute. I don't think he should change because I think he's trying to show the people above, this is how I want to play. And look, I don't have the right players. I need players in. And where they might be saying, you've got all of these players, he's saying, look, I'm going to play them. I'm going to show you that it's not what I want, but you brought me here for a reason to implement this system, and I'm going to stick with it. Yes, this season's a write-off for Manchester United, but it's a rebuild. I think people like Patrick Dorgu is now more suited to that left wing-back position. He's very physical. He's going to get forward a lot more for them. And it will suit Amorim, but I do give him credit for sticking with it because you don't want, as a player, it's terrible when your manager says, we're going to do this, you lose the game or don't perform well, and then the next day it's all changed again. Then you lose faith in the system.
Do you think he's got a free pass, though? Because he's come earlier than he wanted to come. So can things go horribly wrong at Man United until next season? Has he got a pass for the rest of the season?
I think it already has, yeah. And yeah, I think he does have that pass, yeah. From in my opinion.
Sorry,
yeah.
Sorry to do this, but Ruben Amorim is talking, and I've got to cut straight there, I'm told. Ruben Amorim coming up.
Again, guys, the situation is the same for every player. And the last time I talked about that in the last game, my sentence was that I will not put any player that don't give the maximums. I didn't say I will not put Marcus Rashford. So it's the same situation. When I feel that is the right moment, I will put any player to play. And I will say it again, we are a better team with Marcus Rashford. And that is clear. He's a big talent. But until the right moment, I will not change my mind, that's all. And it's always the same answer.
Hello and welcome to Bucharest. Gabriela Bratosing from Antena 1 here. I've got two questions if you allow me. The first one is, your team is not going through a very, let's say, a perfect moment right now. How important would it be for you to win against FCSB tomorrow?
It's always important. Just the feeling of winning is really important. Then we have the situation of the playoff is massive for us. We can clean 1 week or 2 weeks without any game in the middle of the week, and that in this moment is really important. Like I said, the first thing is to win the game. We need to improve our performance. We need to see our players perform and to understand in each position they are better to play. So we have a lot to improve. We have to use every game, every training to see that.
Also, FCSB is on the 8th position at the moment. Is it surprising for you to see this, considering teams like Galatasaray, Rangers are behind?
No, it's not surprising, and we proved that in Premier League. We are Manchester United, and we are so low in the table. So anything can happen in football. We know that he is a strong team. Can score a lot of goals from set pieces, can win difficult matches, sometimes without any so much possession. So he's a really smart team, and we have to perform well to win the game.
Hello, my name is Teodor Jumutate from Golasso.ro. I've got two questions too, please. First of all, how will you react if one day in the morning of a game, Sir Jim Ratcliffe will call you asking to use in the first lineup a player that he wants instead of a player that you want?
That is not even a question. I'm the coach of Manchester United. That is really clear. Everyone here has a job. Andrew has a job. Lenny has a job. My job is to choose the players in that. That is not even a possibility.
And the second, how would you define the last 12 years of Manchester United with 10 different managers, including 4 caretakers, for 0 Premier League titles? Would you define it as a crisis?
No, it's not a crisis. It's a problem because this club is a massive club, and this club had a person like Sir Alex Ferguson in charge of everything for so long. And then when you lose this kind of personality in the club, sometimes it's really hard to start again. So I think that can happen at any club, especially in our club. It was like 26 years, Andrew, 26 years with the same person, 27, sorry, with that aura and in charge of everything, that build everything, that talk with all the kids, that to bring him here since under 8, under 14. So we need to start doing that without Sir Alex and with just a small help from him. So that can happen in any club.
Hello.
Well, we'll leave Ruben Amorim there. If he says anything else about transfers, we will go back to him. He just said Manchester United are better with Marcus Rashford. Does he mean that?
Yeah, I think he does. I think if he could get a Marcus Rashford playing at the top of his level, what he believes he can do, he would play him. But I think at the minute, for whatever reason, he doesn't feel he can get that out of Marcus Rashford, and he won't play him. And he seems very dead set on doing what he wants to do, which is, going back to your question, why I think he has a bit of a free pass. He's under no pressure in terms of having to do things for the sake of it. But we all feel, and we'd all love to see Marcus Rashford playing at his best, or fulfilling his potential of what we know he can do. And I think he'd be in that starting 11.
Dharmesh?
I was at that game, Fulham against Manchester United on Sunday. I was in the news conference where he made all of those headlines by saying, I would pick my goalkeeping coach ahead of anyone who wasn't performing at the maximum. The question admittedly was about Marcus Rashford, but he's just clarified it there. It's not just Marcus Rashford. This goes for any player. So if Marcus Rashford starts performing to his maximum in training, which Ruben Amorim doesn't feel he is, and gives his all, then he will be back in the frame for the first team squad for Manchester United. As far as Marcus Rashford is concerned, I'm told he's training hard and he's very, very focused. But as it stands, we've got 5 days to go in this transfer window. Time's running out for him to actually get a move away from Manchester United. His preference is to go to Barcelona. But there's so many financial considerations for any kind of move for Marcus Rashford in this window. If you look at Barcelona, they would have to create salary space to even contemplate going for Marcus Rashford. And then you have to look at, does Marcus Rashford then have to relax his salary demands to facilitate a move? Do Manchester United then have to up their portion of how much they'd pay in wages for Marcus Rashford to help facilitate a move? All of these things would have to come together for Marcus Rashford to get a move away from Manchester United in this window. It is clear it would be best for all parties at this stage if he was to go on a straight loan abroad in Europe, away from a United rival, but getting regular first-team football. Alternatively, if he doesn't, then he is going to have to work harder than he is at the moment, according to Ruben Amorim, to get back into the first-team squad at United.
Dharmesh has just said it. Amorim just said it, that he was talking about all players. He wasn't. He was talking about Marcus Rashford, wasn't he?
I think Ruben Amorim is very refreshing because he actually says what he thinks in news conferences. I'm not sure how long that's going to last, but we've had him really wear his heart on his sleeve. He's come out and said this United team is the worst United team of all time. Then he's made this comment about his 63-year-old goalkeeping coach. So I think on the one hand, it's refreshing that he's saying what he thinks. But on the other hand, of course, it destabilises Manchester United, creates unnecessary headlines. So I'm not sure whether some people high up at United will be having a word with him and saying, look, you need to stick on message during these news conferences. And he was actually asked there a question about what would happen if the co-owner, Jim Ratcliffe, called you up in the morning and said, you have to start this player, a player you didn't want to start. And he dealt with that really well. He just laughed it off. He said, look, that is never going to happen. I'm the head coach. I'm the one who picks the team. I can't even believe you're asking me that kind of question. But to get back to Marcus Rashford, the only point I would make is we all know that he wants to go to Barcelona. That's his preferred option. But how much would he play at Barcelona? Because when you look at Barcelona's front three, Lewandowski, Rafinha, Lamine Yamal, I mean, is he going to get into their starting 11 for the really important games ahead of any of those three players? So I can understand the attraction of saying, yes, I want to put on that shirt, I want to play for Barcelona, but would he be a sort of bit part player if he was to make that move?
Yeah, all right, listen.
Fan. And you'll be happy to hear I can get behind that trend, hashtag get Salah to Saudi. Be all for that. But my question is what is the advantage for United to sell Garnacho to Chelsea? At the moment, we're playing really inconsistency and we need goals. And he is a proven goal scorer. And is he really going to be starting over Sancho and Madueke? Why would United sell him, especially to a rival?
Why would they, Ashley?
I think if they were to sell him to Chelsea, it would be because he doesn't fit in the manager's long-term plan. Although he is playing in the system at the minute and in the team, I don't feel that Ruben Amorim really sees a long-term future for Garnacho at Manchester United. On the other side of that, why Chelsea would want him, I've got no idea, because they've got better in those areas. So that doesn't add up one bit to me. I can't understand. I can't answer your question on that one. But I think for Manchester United, yes, he's playing at the minute because there's no one else better than him, I don't feel, in that squad to play. But you can see he doesn't look comfortable in this system, I don't think.
The other issue is that Manchester United do not want to sell Alejandro Garnacho, but they accept that selling someone who's going to give them pure profit with regard to their financial predicament, if you're getting £55 million for him, that goes straight into the accounts. And the financial situation Manchester United find themselves in, they could be forced into doing deals that they don't want to do. But coupled with what Ashley just said there, he's playing three at the back. He's playing four across the middle with wing-backs, two number 10s and a striker. Garnacho isn't really a wing-back and he isn't really a number 10. Granted, Ruben Amorim is talking him up. Yes, he's learning this new role, but Amorim now needs to start this rebuild. There's going to be so many brutal decisions that United are going to have to make to enable Ruben Amorim to start bringing in the players that he wants to.
And what's our backup? Is it Matthias Kell? Is he the answer?
I'm sure we'll be talking about it. She's got ahead of herself. Yeah, I mean, it's clear that if one of these players was to leave, we're talking about Garnacho or Rashford, which I'm sure we'll deal with later on in the programme, but they will want to bring in another forward. So somebody like Nkunku is someone that they've explored the possibility and the conditions of a loan deal for, because if Chelsea were to get him, they'd gain a forward and they'd probably want to release a forward. So Nkunku would fit that bill and he could play in that number 10 role that Amorim would want. Matthias Tell is another one, but it's all going to depend on what players will leave United in the window.
Right. Now we've been listening to Ruben Amorim. We've got a bit more for you. Here he is.
If he doesn't secure a move before the deadline on Monday, what is the situation for Marcus then? Does he continue to not be selected? Is there a back for him? How does the situation play out from your perspective?
Our team, you can look at our team and imagine the profile of the players, you know? Now imagine a talent like Rashford. Our team should be so much better with Rashford. But this Rashford, he has to change. If he change, we are more than welcome to put a talent like Rashford. And we need it. So, but in this moment, I think it's really clear that we have to set some standards. That's all. We are waiting for Marcus if he wants really, really bad. That's the only thing. So it's you try to make like something personally. It's not personal. I have nothing against Marcos. I just have to make the same rules for everybody. And that for me, it's so simple. It's always the same answer.
Is it disappointing for you as a coach, though, to see a player with such talent and potential? We've seen it in the past, what he's achieved, that your message is not getting through to him.
I promise, Andrew, I will not give you nothing today about Marcus Rashford. I'm giving you a little bit. It's the same thing, guys. We need goals. We need 1 against 1. We need threat in the final third. Guys, what more do you need?
We got to get some dinner and some sleep. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Darmesh, what do you think?
Wow. I mean, he's dynamite in these news conferences now. And when he's asked about Marcus Rashford, he's completely honest. They're a better team with Marcus Rashford in the team. He was asked actually after that, just before that, about the links with Barcelona and whether he knew anything about it. And he said, I know nothing about it.
Knows nothing. All right, let's get back to the viewers' questions then. Judon, who has been waiting patiently. Your time is now, sir.
Yes, I'm a Manchester United fan myself. Just going back to Ruben Amorim's system, Onana was brought in by Erik ten Hag because it suited his system. Now that we have a new manager, how does he fit into Amorim's system?
Ashley, how does the goalkeeper fit into the system?
Well, it's been a struggle, I think. He clearly wants his goalkeeper to play out from the back. But it goes... There's so many of those Manchester United players that are struggling in this system. I think De Ligt is struggling in possession. The team is struggling in possession more than anything. So Onana, yes, I think he's a good goalkeeper, good shot stopper. I don't think he's comfortable enough with the ball at his feet, which we've seen clearly in previous games. So that's an area for concern. What surprises me is that goalkeepers can't get better with their feet at this stage in their career. It really surprises me because you'd work on something like that and then they would get better, you'd think, but they seem to not. But there's a lot. You've mentioned Onana. I don't think that's Manchester United's biggest problem at the minute.
Nice one. Nick, you're...
Manchester United are reportedly interested in Chelsea striker Christopher Nkunku, but they can hardly afford to sign him permanently at this stage of the season. The Blues splashed £52 million to secure the services of the versatile French attacker in the summer of 2023. However, his first campaign at Stamford Bridge was marred by injuries, while has been playing second fiddle to Nicholas Jackson this term. Nkunku has managed to amass a decent tally thus far, scoring 13 goals and providing for assists across all competitions. However, the bulk of his goal contribution has been between the Carabao Cup and Conference League, as his Premier League starting appearances have been limited. In recent days, the Paris Saint-Germain youth product has emerged as a potential Man United target, as the club could do with a new attacking addition amidst the vague futures of Marcus Rashford and Alejandro Garnacho. But according to Sky Sports journalist Domesh Sheth, the Red Devils won't be able to sign the Chelsea man on a permanent basis, so their best bet would be to secure a loan deal. Manchester United have looked into the possibility of a deal for Christopher Nkunku, but there would only be a loan. Explained Sheth during his appearance on Transfer Talk podcast. They've got no chance of doing a permanent deal for Nkunku. It will cost them too much money. Nevertheless, the Transfer Market Insider believes the situation would be different if United are open to selling Alejandro Garnacho to Chelsea. But clearly, if United, and it's a big if, did business with Chelsea for Alejandro Garnacho, they'll already be talking then. And it would smooth the way for Nkunku to maybe make a move on loan to Old Trafford. Finally, Sheth fears the Reds could be left out of the equation if Chelsea and Bayern Munich end up striking an agreement involving Nkunku and Mathys Tel, who is also a Man United target. But Nkunku is interested in Bayern Munich as well, and they maybe have a player in Mathys Tel that Chelsea could be interested in.